Hello and welcome to another one of Yellow Magic's Let's Plays. This is your host Yellow Magic, currently playing, or about to start playing, a game called Dragon Fantasy. So in terms of developers of this game, so clearly the main guy is known as FIAM, something like that, I don't know. I'm sure they will correct me on that one. There's also Corphasis, who's the proofreader and map designer. Daihalto, who's a sprite editor. And then there's also Desert Topa, who apparently is a script/dialogue editor. I have to admit that when I first received a request to play this game, I didn't really think that I was going to be going through with it. Because honestly, with a name like Dragon Fantasy, you're not necessarily going to make an impact in terms of, uniqueness or originality, because it's quite a typical thing, isn't it? It's like if you were making a stereotypical RPG just as a satire or comedy, a parody or something like that, you'd probably call it Dragon Fantasy. But then I found out that this game was recently remade, and apparently the engine in use is RPG Maker 2000, which is a bit surprising in this day and age. So as a result, I had to pretty much check this out. Just want to point out that I am basically playing this game blind, as in I haven't played this game before, as with my Iron Gaia Let's Play, so I don't really know what to expect. It's basically just a case of checking it out and figuring things out as we go along. Celeste. That is a very risky name to use, considering how well known it is in RPG Maker. I mean, not in RPG games overall. If you don't know who Celeste is in terms of RPGs, then I don't know what to say. There's clearly a game you need to play. So far, so typical. Well, that was quick. That was quite the time skip. Actually, I'm guessing that was just a flashback. Is that a semicolon? There's another semicolon. Is that how you use semicolons? I'm gonna have to call you out on that. Whoever's Corphasis, I think, the proofreader. Am I correct? So it looks like I already passed the tutorial stage. Very interesting. So we're looking for a relic in a cavern the size of a pebble. Or at least I think it was a cavern. Was it? There's my 21st century attention span rearing its ugly head. I love you. Hey! Didn't see that coming from a mile away. Well, to be fair, what would you expect to say to your grandfather before you go to a journey somewhere? You wouldn't say, "Smell you later," would you? Some people might. Clearly not Celeste. Yeah, this doesn't look very crystalline to me. Point. That's an idea. Okay, so bit of a background in terms of graphics. We have, I think that's the normal RPG Maker 2000 menu. We have what looks like a Fire Emblem face, might have been edited. And we have Macca Blue graphics here, so the tile set and the character set. No, I think the character set is by Rocco, right? And the tile sets are by Black and Blue, but it's a fairly universal combination in terms of RPG Maker 2000/2003 games. In terms of what we can do, magic attack, magic recovery. Fairly typical, you know, wasn't really expecting a bit more in this early stage. Nah. They ain't cute, yo. Is that a Dragon Quest / Dragon Warrior slime? I don't really know a huge amount about those games. I could take a wild guess. Oh, that was difficult. Yeah, get out of here. Okay, one thing that has stuck out to me. Oops. Well, that was interesting. What was I about to say? I just completely lost my train of thought there. One thing that did stick out to me was that there doesn't seem to be save anywhere. This is usually a thing that I take plenty of issue with, unfortunately, because in this day and age there's always a need to have to maybe go somewhere all of a sudden. I know this is a desktop game, but I think it's worth bearing in mind that people can have fairly busy lives or can have certain things come up, and then, you know, as a result, it's also just a bit more helpful to include a means to save whenever you can. I mean, whenever it should be feasible, if that makes sense. But I mean, it's not the biggest deal in the world if you don't implement save anywhere, but it's just something that I do like to see. The music is very MIDI. Very MIDI, very typical. All in all, this is a very typical game, graphically and musically. I wouldn't say it's a bad thing, because so far I feel that's fairly well executed. I'm not quite sure whether this is supposed to be kind of a parody yet, or if it's supposed to be like an homage to like the Dragon Quest games of old. It's probably going to be a bit weird of me to admit. You probably guessed by the fact that I didn't know where that slime was really from. I haven't actually played a Dragon Quest game. Please don't hurt me. I'm innocent. I'm innocent, okay? It's just that they never really interested me that much. Because from what I could tell about the Dragon Quest games is that they're not big on like things like stories or character development or anything like that. It's really all about the battles. Having said that, I am getting quite into the Shin Megami Tensei games, which you could argue are less about the story and more about the battles. You could potentially argue that. But, I mean, I don't know, I guess just the whole look and feel of the Dragon Quest games or Dragon War. I keep mixing them up, I don't think they're the same thing. That's a pretty neat detail. It's pretty interesting because right now we got a monster coming up right before the treasure chest. No, I mean right after I open the treasure chest. Which is an interesting way of doing it. I do not understand. Magical. Animal. Is this supposed to tell me something? I'm getting the impression that animal refers to physical, as in like physical attacks. And magical may refer to intelligence-based attacks, i.e. magic. But I might be wrong. I say I try that anyway. So, equipping the new weapon. So, what can I say about this game so far, apart from everything being ever so slightly typical? The mapping is pretty good. The mapping is very competent. If you look around, you could see basically no violation of the 3-tile rule. What is the 3-tile rule, Yellow Magic? What the hell are you talking about? My script can do anything that the 3-tile rule can. No, it can't. The 3-tile rule is basically something that people came up with in the RPG Maker days of old, and it basically refers to these tiles, so the tiles of like the walls or ceilings or so on. The idea is that these should never be any more than 3 tiles in length before the edge kind of rotating, if you know what I mean. So you shouldn't have straight walls as it's unrealistic of any longer than 3 tiles. That's the idea of the 3-tile rule, and so far I don't think I've seen a single violation, so kudos to the mapper. I'm guessing that was Core Faces. Nope, this is not a save. Oh well. I'm sure I'll hit one eventually. So far the game's been pretty easy, but I don't think it was supposed to be that hard. I do have to say that I'm a bit concerned about enemies apparently doing negligible damage, i.e. no damage. Because doing like 1 or 2 HP isn't much of a big deal, and it even looks like it got to the point where the enemy just couldn't do any damage at all. Usually in an RPG Maker 2000 games, when it says blah 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 was not affected, that usually means that the damage did, the attack that the enemy used did no damage. So there might be a bit of balancing work necessary, but it is still a bit too early to call. Simply because I just started this game about 10 minutes ago. Anyway, we seem to have found a save point. By the way, unless I'm wrong, I don't think I've actually faced any random encounters yet, have I? But I don't know, maybe I just haven't been paying attention, but I don't actually think I've hit a random encounter. Anyway, looks like we've hit the relic that Grandpappy wanted me to find. And I feel a boss battle incoming. Divine Overseer of Gyarados. Gyarados. I don't even know. I like those little pseudo speech and bubbles that come up. I guess you could call them emotion bubbles. Of course, it's the chosen one. Chosen one. Right? Oh, roadkill. Kill it with fire. Literally, kill it with fire. Interesting. Not a huge variation in terms of damage there. So this flare attack did 12 HP damage. Physical attack did 9 HP damage. But we're gonna have to use it. We're gonna have to use both skills a few more times to see whether that is the way it is. Because it could be the random number generated from RNG, just have to. Well, that was fairly easy again. But again, I'm assuming it wasn't supposed to be that difficult straight from the get-go. Not many developers will make their games that difficult from the get-go. If you do, if anyone has played SMT4, you'll know exactly what I mean, because that game absolutely murders you in the very beginning. Absolutely murders you. I mean, enemies will one-hit kill you. In the very beginning dungeon of the game. I mean, and it's strange because the game just gets progressively easier as you go on. It is the strangest game, SMT4, in terms of difficulty, progression in terms of difficulty. The strangest game. Anyway. Sifanbla? No, this doesn't seem like a Japanese name, because in Japanese I don't think you would have a UB sound or a bra sound. It'd be like Sifanubura, you know, with a U between the B and the R. But I'm just attempting to show off my newly found Japanese knowledge as I'm taking Japanese classes every week. Hello, N. So it looks like I've come here to be the savior for the Three Kings, aiding the people of Sifanubla. Is that the prophecy? So the Three Kings are gods. Why not just call them three gods? Plot hole! Okay. Okay, I do understand that I am basically the chosen one amongst the Three Kings. Is the hero afraid about becoming a hero? Never seen that before. One thing I want to mention while I bring that up, a book that I would recommend people reading is, it's called The Man with a Thousand Faces, I believe. And it basically details the trials and tribulations of a typical hero in like a typical fantasy-ish story, and it goes through like all the different phases of the journey and of the development of the character, the main character themselves. And it's a very important book because it really sort of defines the stories or the characters that are adapted by so many different pieces of media. You wouldn't even believe the amount of media that's actually inspired by The Man with a Thousand Faces. Or I think actually, sorry, it's called The Hero with a Thousand Faces. And I mean, I already looked at it like years ago, but I from what I can remember, it's definitely worth a read for anyone interested in kind of storytelling. Anyway. Okay, one thing that I'm going to point out right now is, I guess you could call it a critique in a way, FIM, Corphasis and Co. There's a bit much in terms of revealing what the main character's supposed to do. Like, it feels like I'm already being told how this whole story is going to unfold in less than 20 minutes. So, I mean, I know a lot of people have issues with like slow pacing. For me, in this case, I guess it'd be kind of the obvious. Kind of the opposite. But that might just be me. I mean, you feel free to call me out on that. And I've hit a world map. Because what kind of RPG begins without a world map? And the medicine horde. Okay, no, actually, I was going to quit, but it looks like I'm actually going to enter a town. So we're going to be doing something a bit different. I have to say though, I really do like the mapping in this. I think it's very, I wouldn't say just competent, it's more than competent. It's great when a person takes a commonly used tileset, as these Mac and Blue ones are, and then just uses them like the way they should be used, if you know what I mean. Not trying to do anything outrageously dumb, just going for something a bit authentic, you could say. So, appreciated. This isn't an original tune, this is from oh crap, I can't pronounce these Japanese things, even though I've been to Japanese lessons. Seiken Densetsu 3, i.e., you know, part of the Secret of Mana series. This sounds like one of the themes from that game. From one of the villages in the very early stages of the game. It is a pretty good game as far as the soundtrack is concerned, actually. So the main composer, I think his name was Hiroki Kikuta. He's quite a talent, I'd say. Or he or she, I don't even know. I shouldn't just assume. Getting new equipment is always good. So this is the part of the Let's Play where I go through the amazing number of ways that you could contact me if you have any comments or critique about my Let's Playing. Hold on, let me just read this. Okay, that wasn't the most exciting thing in the world, but okay, sorry. If you want to contact me, there is this very YouTube video that you can post a comment in. There is... looks like I can buy magic. Let me just talk to someone else. There's my Twitter account, which is @YellowMagic. No spaces and there's no W in yellow. And you can also find me on the RPGmaker.net IRC, which is #RPGmaker.net on irc.sign.irc.net. Alright, calm down, pal. Now, yeah, it looks like I can buy magic, which is pretty damn useful. And being the very experienced RPG player I am going to assume that elements actually count for something in this game. I don't know yet because I haven't really tested. Oops. Don't mind if I do. And yes, we have learned 2 more skills. Freeze, which is an ice attack, and Shock, which is a lightning attack, and these should fairly well complement the single fire attack that I had in the very beginning. I already have it. I'm guessing there's going to be a new character coming up, new playable character, which would explain all the magic. Of course, the end. Okay, so I think I'm actually going to wrap up now, as it's getting pretty late over here, here in the UK. It is 11:15 PM. So, just to summarize a few thoughts before I call it quits. This is a fairly... I don't know if it's intentional. I'm guessing it is intentional, but so far this game has been fairly generic in pretty much each and every way. The story is, again, it seems to be a fairly typical one. You know, you're the chosen one and you have to go save the planet. But in order to do that, you have to go and find a certain person, yada yada yada. You have your typical kind of moving around the dungeon, fighting enemies. Luckily, these aren't random encounters, so this game gets like plus 100 points, in my opinion, for not doing random encounters. And then you stop over at a town, right? You go around, you explore a bit, you talk to the townspeople, you try to get some useful information out, and you restock on items, so on and so forth, and then you set off on your way. The good thing about all of this, though, is that it's all enveloped by some really solid mapping, so I am really enjoying the mapping of this game. And the music, I can't really tell if all of it's original. I'm pretty sure not all of it's original, because I heard some of the Sega Densetsu 3 music earlier, but it's very well used at the very least, so there's that as well. And the battles, well, I can't say a huge amount about the battles yet, but so far the game gets plus points in that I haven't been frustrated enough to just stop playing, and that is always a plus in my book. For the first 20 to 25 minutes, you never want to get the player in such a state that he just does not want to continue. He or she just doesn't want to continue with the game, so plus points for that as well. As a result, I do think I'm going to keep playing this game, so I'm looking forward to carrying on with Dragon Fantasy. Until next time, this is Yellow Magic signing off. Thanks a lot, guys.